Welcome back to Street Switch Photography. We've got Tommy Robinson's thoughts on the actual trial that he's been facing to do with not giving his PIN number to the police when arrested under the Terrorism Act when he come back off holiday from the airport and they were all waiting for him at the airport. He knew they were going to be there and they were dressed up like they were going to be taking over Poland or something like that. Let's do it.
Street Switch Photography.
So, welcome back to Street Switch Photography for another episode on this lovely Tuesday. Miserable weather, as usual. Usually is on a Tuesday, but there's a fairly decent market in town today if you're popping down. Pop in and have a coffee at Greggs or any of the other cafes that you may want to go in, but Greggs is cheapest. Also, go and see Mr. Spuds. He does a nice sort of baked bean potato, jacket potato and everything. I always chat to him when I'm down there. And if you want to sign the petition at Yorkshire Trading to get us another GPs, because one more GPs is really going to help when we've got no fucking doctors, to put in the GPs, pop in, sign the petition and support your town. There you go. Support it. Yeah. Now, apparently, I'm a bit of a Tommy Robinson lover, according to somebody over on Facebook who wants people to tag me. Don't tag me in anything, because I won't take no fucking notice of it whatsoever. It seems to be some sort of weird, stalky person that's on Facebook, and I really don't give a shit. So don't bother tagging me in out, because I can't be bothered about Raise the Colours and all that lot. We're putting flags up. If you don't like it, don't look at them. Buy yourself some really dark shades, or even better still, a balaclava with no eye holes in it. That might be a little bit better, because then nobody has to look at you either, do they? But then saying that, they say that these flags are associated with terrorism and they're associated with the far right. Well, the LGBTQ4K flag is associated with murdering Charlie Kirk. That's got just as much weight and holds as much weight as what bullshit you're coming out with. So zip it, keep your mouth shut and stop telling lies. Anyway, let's get on with this show. Tommy Robinson and what he actually thinks on his verdict. I'm not a big Tommy Robinson supporter. I do sort of believe what he is saying is true. He has got a history, the same as we all have, and I've said before, we've all got history and skeletons in the closet and things like that. If you're forthcoming and you actually say, yes, I've made mistakes in the past and hold your hands up to it, then there's no problem, because everybody makes mistakes and I believe everybody deserves a second chance. Just stop, the far left, just stop being so fucking weird. You've lost. The next government is going to be reform, whether you like it or not. Fucking boo-hoo. Get over it, move on with your life and go and do something else. I don't know, go to some sort of protest to do with the colour of the water down the park. I don't really care what you do. So let's see what Tommy Robinson is actually saying and see what he thinks about this trial.
I feel alright. Yeah, I feel alright. Look, until I pulled up and saw 6 meat wagons full of police officers around the side, and then I thought, do they know saying we don't, and my bag gets sent to jail, and they've got security ready. So, but after
so basically, what Tommy Robinson is saying there, they've got the meat wagons around the corner waiting for him, just in case he actually does get done today for not giving the police his PIN code to his phone. No, we're not living in a totalitarian state at all, are we? We've got perfect free speech. We can say what we want when we want to say it and everything else. It's brilliant, brilliant country. The advice I would give anybody living in this country, if you've got the money to, fucking move out now.
After seeing it play out yesterday so blatantly, after seeing the officer accept, whilst on the stand, on oath, that the detainment was unlawful, he admitted it was unlawful. So, but then seeing the mainstream media totally admit all these things from their reporting yesterday. So much happened in that court yesterday that none of them have reported. And then what the judge done is he prevented any citizen journalists, i.e. Ezra and others that have come to report, he prevented them telling the truth of what was going on inside the courtroom.
But he let in the mainstream media so they can push their narrative and their agenda. That's usually what happens. Now, I have done some research on this and it's totally true. They would not let anybody else in. None of the freelance journalists that were down there were allowed in the courtroom to record or even to hear any of what was going on. Now, that is a totalitarian state, people. That is a totalitarian state. That is a lockdown on free speech. It's basically the mainstream media can say anything they want. And Tommy did actually approach one of these reporters, or so-called reporters, or journalists. I wouldn't call them journalists. I call them fucking liars, yesterday. And they couldn't answer one single question. I don't know how these people sleep at night, pushing lies. Anything to do with lies they will put quite happily on their channel, the BBC, Fox News, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5 and all the rest of the mainstream media, which is why I do not watch mainstream TV anymore.
So they want the only narrative for you to get, the public, is the BBC, Sky News fucking narrative. So I just hope that the judge gives us a bit of confidence in the judiciary again today.
Now, if you're one of these weak-minded people that actually believe everything that you've been seeing on TV for the past 25, 30 years, then that's not my problem. You're weak-minded. What's got two thumbs and don't give a fuck? That'll be me. I do not watch the mainstream media because I know they're full of shit and I know they are not telling the truth. Now, I'm an honest person. I like to think that I'm honest to the core. I look for the truth. I like to know what's happening. I like to know why it's happened. And I'm one of these people that will continue to ask why. Because I'm capable of something called lateral thinking, not just lateral thinking, but free thinking. And I'm capable of thinking for myself instead of being fed bullshit by the BBC, Channel 4 and all the rest of the mainstream media. The same as Tommy Robinson here. He thinks like that. And again, he has got history. We all know that. Which is why Nigel Farage wants nothing to do with him. But I can understand why Nigel Farage wants nothing to do with him as well. That's his choice. Again, he's entitled to his opinion. The same as everybody else on this planet. But also, people have got to understand, right, that not everybody wants to listen to your opinion, which is absolutely fine. You're just as entitled not to have to listen to it, to have your opinion. So stop bitching about it and move on. If you don't like it, go. It's as simple as that. You don't need to be disrespectful and start calling people names and starting bullshit witch hunts like the far left do, which I've got evidence for weeks for that. It's all falling apart for the far left and they don't like it. The person who murdered Charlie Kirk, again, I can now link the LGBTQ4K flag to murders. I can also link it to the Palestine flag because that has now got a terrorist organisation strapped behind it, hasn't it, called Palestine Action. And there's no terrorist organisation on the far right. There are plenty on the left, but none on the far right. So which ones do you trust? You've got no room for manoeuvre anymore. It's all over. It's done. And all you guys are doing is bawling your eyes out about it. And there's nothing you can do. Nothing. Absolutely nothing, because no one's listening.
I think it's impossible for him to rule against me. It was so blatant when it played out with the three officers who were under oath. But one of the officers literally had to ask for a break because he was just getting caught out left, right and centre with lies. He says in his statement that he asked me lots of questions. I was very, what did he say? My demeanour and all these different things, like about how I was answering the questions. And when we played the CCTV of how long I was at his thing, it was 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. He asked me one question: "Where are you off to?" I said, "Benidorm." Pull your car over there. Mm-hmm. That was it. I was detained under Terrorism Act.
So today you are going to be.
So yeah, he was detained under the Terrorism Act. Now the difference between being detained under normal circumstances is you have the right to remain silent. Under the Terrorism Act you do not have the right to remain silent. You have to say and tell and answer every single question. Now Tommy Robinson withheld the PIN number to his phone because they obviously seized his phone. Now on that phone, because of Tommy Robinson's journalism, were victims of the Pakistani grooming gangs and other things like that with evidence on there. And if they'd have got hold of that, who knows what they'd have done with it. So I would say that he was actually protecting these people, if anything. Your mothers, your daughters, the people you protect within your family. The far left do not want to protect these people. They want to move more people into the hotels to actually commit these crimes. So you tell me, again, who is it you trust? If you've got family, and you've got your own family, and you're protective of your kids, you would be on the right side of fucking history here. Not the wrong side, unless you're a fucking wrong'un.
In the stand.
I'm either going to be a convicted terrorist or not. That is insane, no? Say that out loud. I'm going to be a convicted terrorist because I'm a journalist. If I wasn't a journalist, I'd understand their argument.
They're going to try and convict him of being a terrorist, basically, because he tells the truth. They want to silence him. They want these ID cards. They want everything else. It's not going to happen. No one is going to comply.
But because I'm a journalist, and we've had statements from survivors of rape who have said they don't want the police to have the information that they give me, for a good reason, because in Telford, in Rotherham, in Rochdale, in all these cities, the police were working with Islamic rape gangs. They were hiding evidence. That's what was happening. So I'm not going to give them access to my source of information. I'm not going to let them know who tells me information about them. Remember, in our Rape of Britain series, one of the episodes, we outed a corrupt police officer. So I don't want them to know who gives me information.
No, of course. Yeah. And if you are a convicted terrorist today, and we are hoping that doesn't happen.
A convicted terrorist for telling the truth. A convicted terrorist for telling the truth. Now, I'd just like to remind everybody there is a massive investigation going on all across the country to do with ethnic minority grooming gangs. Okay? And they could basically turn around to this gentleman here, known as Stephen Yaxley Lennon, and convict him of being a terrorist for telling the truth. Now let's have a look at Labour's history. Have they told the truth over the past 9-10 months since they've been in power? They haven't told the truth about a goddamn thing. Not one thing. They have stuck to absolutely nothing in their manifesto. They are liars, pathological liars, and if you want to believe that, you be your normal weak-minded self. Sit there doing your knitting with your blanket over your knees, bitching at the world and doing fuck all else. But I'm going to be out there with my camera and I'm going to be recording exactly what happens in this town where I live. And I'm going to record it, I'm going to document it for future people to actually see what happened to this country.
The people of this country love you. On the 13th of September, most of them do. On the 13th of September, you had 3 million people on the streets. That will happen again.
Oh, we're already making the plans for the next one. We've just got a meeting with the police in 2 weeks. The next one, each time we've said the next one's going to be bigger, the next one's going to be bigger. The reason why it's bigger is because everyone who goes to each one...
Now, the last mass protest in London, well, the BBC was telling everybody there was 150,000 people there. It was more along 2 million. So, again, that was the BBC lying. Also, they turned around and said that 28 people from the far right were arrested. It turned out it was 13. The rest of them was from the far left, from the Palestinian protests, from the LGBTQ community, and they are the ones that hurt all of the officers as well, just to be clear. Now, this has been documented and it's also been investigated, and it turns out it is true. So, again, the far left have not got a leg to stand on. I'm talking about the far left, not the centre left. The far left. I'd like to make that very, very clear. The people that join things like Antifa, the people that go to these organised protests, violent protests. And believe me, on Saturday there will be Palestine protests, even though there is now peace in the Middle East, and they will still be calling for the eradication of Israel because they are anti-Semitic, racist arseholes. And that is the truth, and it is rife in Great Britain, not just in Great Britain, all across the Middle East as well. They want rid of every single Israel or Jew on this planet, and they will not stop until they get their way. And they're showing themselves for exactly who they are now. And they don't like it because people can now actually see exactly what it is they're doing to this country.
What day do they have? So I follow all the comments. Even the people who didn't make it into the event said, what an amazing day. Why is that? Because they've been given that sense of identity again. That feeling of camaraderie, that brotherhood, sisterhood, that community feeling that they've broke. They've made us feel isolated, made us feel alone. Unite the Kingdom is bringing everyone back under one banner against the establishment. The next one...
And this comes in line with raise the flags, people trying to tell us that it's illegal to raise the flag, blah, 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 fucking blah. Who cares? If the police want to go around arresting somebody for putting a flag on a lamppost instead of arresting somebody that's been shoplifting or burgling someone's house or sexually assaulting somebody, and that isn't a waste of police time, then I would do what I would call shut the fuck up. It's as simple and as plain as that. You're not even worth listening to.
Will be. I won't release the date yet. I'd rather do it in a better way, and I need to see if I'm not going to be in jail.
No, of course. And finally, I've spoken to Ezra. I've interviewed him this morning. He's sent in all his accreditation. And let's hope that the judge is going to commit him to live tweet today, and he's confident that may happen.
I don't know how good. Have you seen how good he is at live tweeting? But I can't hear what's going on.
So I'm thinking at the next local elections, it's going to get pretty crazy because this is a time of year where all the lefties go and get their COVID jabs and start putting the masks on and everything else, and the COVID jab obviously does something up here to them. They all just go round shouting free, whatever it is that they want to free that particular day, and then change it from that to some sort of other sort of activism that they can actually approach for that day. But hey, I'm quite looking forward to it because it's going to give me content and it's going to put my subs up.
On, but you can watch it on his tweets. He's like, he's a machine. Ezra's a machine.
And apparently over 8 million people have seen his tweets, which far exceeds the BBC.
That is why they didn't want him tweeting. Yeah, because they...
Now, it's also a known fact that everybody, the BBC are actually panicking because in about 3 to 4 years, the BBC will be no more, because more and more people are stopping paying their TV licences because they do not believe what the BBC say, and they are a paedophile harbouring channel. The same as other channels as well. I mean, we only have to look at the history of the BBC to know that they harbour paedophiles, and if you want to pay for a company like that to harbour paedophiles, then you crack on, but I'm not going to do it. I don't watch the BBC, I have nothing to do with them, and I would never have anything to do with them.
Lost total control. They've always had control with the mainstream media. They've always had control. They've lost control.
Thank you, Tommy.
Cheers, man.
And we'll see you later on.
Cheers, lads.
So that was Tommy Robinson and his thoughts on the trial so far. If we get any verdict today, I don't know whether we will or whether we won't, but it'll be interesting to see whether they're going to put him in prison for basically another political prisoner under the Terrorism Act. He could spend a lot of time in jail for not giving the police a PIN number on his phone, literally. He used to be a football hooligan, and he used to run something called the EDL, which was infiltrated by the far right. These are Nazis. Yes, they are. But also, we can now link, which is quite interesting, the far left to being Nazi as well. They like to go around calling everybody Nazi and fascist and everything else, and if you go and look up on GTP chat what fascism actually is, that basically means to shut down free speech and everything else, and you can look at all the different meanings of fascism, and there are a lot more things under the characteristics of the far left than what there even are the far right. Now, people like to call people of centre-right far right. They like to call all these try and shut down free speech. It's not working anymore. It isn't working. And I'm pleased it isn't working, which is why I don't respond to these types of people. But if you're in the street calling somebody names and you're putting a target on somebody's back and it gets noticed, I ploy people to actually speak up about it, because that is bullying. It's bullying to the max when you've got an old lady standing there handing out leaflets and you walk up to that lady and call her a Nazi or a fascist or a racist in public on a Saturday when there's hundreds of people about. You're targeting that person with hate speech. And if I'm there, I'm going to say something. Trust me, I will say something. I don't care who you are, where you're from, or what you think you know. That is bullying, and I hate bullying. Now, we have our Facebook stalkers, we have our Facebook haters, we have our YouTube haters, we have all our social media haters that will always be around. They'll always be there to open the trap about something and whinge about something, and then when they get shut down about it or asked a question that they can't answer, they go all mardy and start throwing the insults because they're incapable of debate, which is why I have stopped debating far left people. I usually get told to F off. I usually get called one of these 3 names that they like to spout, because they're the only 3 names they have the brain capacity to actually hold, because the rest of it's been filled with far left rhetoric and bullshit that they are incapable of debate. But I don't mind debating people that lean to the left, that I would like to call centre left. I've got friends on the centre left. A good example would be, not this video that I did the weekend just gone, it was about a month before, and a gentleman come down and he debated with Reform UK, and he asked some very relevant questions, and he was respectful, he was kind, and I actually shook his hand and I said he should have been a councillor. He doesn't want to be a councillor. I can't imagine why, but he should have been a councillor. He knows his stuff. Anyway, this has been Street Switch Photography. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Go and hit the notification bell. I hope you like my new signs and stuff behind me and the lighting and all the rest of it to give this video a bit of mood. I'll hopefully see you in the next live video today. Goodbye for now.
Street Switch Photography.